Let's start at the beginning. Tony DiNozzo entered NCIS as the charming, quick-witted senior field agent, always ready with a movie reference or sarcastic quip. He was a ladies' man, sure, but also fiercely loyal to his team and his boss, Leroy Jethro Gibbs. Ziva David entered in Season 3, following the tragic death of Agent Caitlin Todd. As a Mossad operative, Ziva brought a sharp edge and international flair to the team. Their first interactions were filled with tension, suspicion, and banter. But even in those early days, fans noticed something electric between them. The stakes for this spin-off are high, not just because of fan expectations, but because of the legacy of NCIS. Tony and Ziva's storylines were among the most talked about in the franchise's history, and the chemistry between Weatherly and De Pablo was a key reason why. Bringing them back together is both a gift to longtime fans and a way to expand the NCIS universe. The fact that their journey continues outside the US, in Europe, adds a fresh twist that sets it apart from the main series. As we look ahead, one thing is certain. The return of Tony and Ziva is about more than just nostalgia. It's about payoff. For years, NCIS teased their connection without fully delivering. Now, fans finally get to see them as a couple, as parents, and as partners in every sense of the word. That's why this spin-off matters. It's the closure and continuation audiences have been demanding. It's also proof of the staying power of NCIS as a franchise, able to evolve and spin out new stories even after 2 decades on the air. So, whether you've been a fan since Season 1 or you're just discovering the series, NCIS Tony and Ziva represents a rare TV moment, the chance to revisit unfinished business and finally see 2 beloved characters get the story they deserve. Their journey has been filled with twists, heartbreak, and hope, and now it's time for a new chapter, one that blends love, action, and family against the backdrop of Paris. For NCIS fans, this isn't just another spin-off. It's the continuation of a love story that has captivated audiences for nearly 20 years. What made Tony and Ziva so compelling wasn't just the flirtation. It was their complexity. Tony often hid behind humor, but Ziva saw right through him. Ziva, meanwhile, was disciplined and guarded, but Tony had a way of breaking down her walls. Their friendship developed into a deep trust, and that trust fueled some of the show's most emotional storylines. Fans loved watching their fiery arguments, quick banter, and the undeniable spark that made them feel like more than just coworkers. The writers teased their connection for years, never quite letting them cross the line, keeping audiences hooked season after season. One of their most memorable turning points came in Season 6, when Tony was forced to kill Ziva's boyfriend, Michael Rifkin, during a confrontation. The fallout was devastating. Ziva returned to Israel, and her relationship with Tony became strained to the breaking point. Yet when she was later kidnapped and tortured, it was Tony who risked everything to bring her back. That mission, known as Truth or Consequences, cemented the unbreakable bond between them. It was clear that their connection wasn't just professional, it was deeply personal, forged through shared trauma and mutual respect. Their bond continued to grow in Season 8 and beyond. There were stolen glances, subtle touches, and countless moments where they clearly wanted to say more, but held back. Fans coined the term TIVA to describe their relationship, and the online fandom exploded with theories, rewatches, and shipping debates. It became one of the show's biggest hooks. Would Tony and Ziva ever actually admit their feelings? The writers played with this dynamic brilliantly, giving fans just enough to keep them invested, but never fully delivering on the romance. At least not at first. Season 11 brought one of the most heartbreaking moments in NCIS history. Ziva made the decision to resign from NCIS and stay in Israel, leaving Tony devastated. Their final scene together was raw and emotional, ending in a kiss that fans had waited years to see. It wasn't the fairy tale ending viewers wanted, but it was honest. It showed just how much they loved each other, even if circumstances pulled them apart. For many, this was the last chapter in the Tony-Ziva saga, until the show surprised everyone years later with more twists. After Ziva's departure, Tony continued with the team, but his character was forever changed. The light-hearted Dinozzo still cracked jokes, but fans could sense the emptiness left behind by Ziva's absence. Then came season 13, when Tony himself said goodbye to NCIS. The reason? He discovered that he and Ziva shared a daughter, Tali. That revelation floored fans and reframed their entire relationship. It wasn't just about unspoken love anymore. It was about family. Tony chose to leave NCIS to raise Tali, honoring both Ziva and their new life together. For years, viewers assumed that was the end of the story. Tony and Ziva's love was acknowledged, but off-screen, with fans left to imagine what their family life might look like. But then came season 17, and NCIS pulled off one of its greatest surprises. Ziva returned. After being presumed dead for years, she reappeared, shocking both the team and the audience. Her arc revealed that she had been in hiding to protect Tali and Tony from danger, once again sacrificing her own happiness for her family's safety. Ziva's reappearance gave fans a glimpse of closure, but it also set the stage for something bigger. In her final moments on NCIS, she talked about reuniting with Tony and Tali, and fans were left hopeful but still craving more. What would life look like for these three as a family? Could Tony and Ziva finally have the happiness they had been denied for so long? That lingering question is exactly what makes the upcoming spin-off so exciting. It's a chance to finally see their story play out in full. The new series, NCIS, Tony and Ziva, promises to pick up their story in Paris. This setting alone feels romantic and cinematic, a perfect backdrop for the couple's new chapter. But this won't just be about romance. As former agents, Tony and Ziva are bound to find themselves pulled into action, solving cases and navigating danger together. What makes it especially intriguing is that they'll also be parents, juggling the challenges of raising a daughter while confronting threats from their past. That mix of action, family, and romance is exactly what fans have been waiting for. What if I told you that one of television's most iconic will they, won't they couples is finally making a comeback? Yes, NCIS fans, it's happening. Michael Weatherly and Cote de Pablo are stepping back into the roles of Tony Dinozzo and Ziva David, this time in their very own spin-off, NCIS Tony and Ziva. For over a decade, fans have rooted for this duo, celebrated their chemistry, and agonized over their heartbreaking departures. Now, as the spin-off prepares to premiere, it's the perfect time to rewind the clock and revisit everything that made Tony and Ziva one of the most beloved on-screen pairings in TV history.